All right, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to play a short message from Leeward Community College Chancellor Carlos Penaloza. He'll share more about the Waihewa Value-Added Product Development Center and the role of the University of Hawaii Community Colleges in supporting Hawaii's value-added industry.
The Waihewa Value-Added Product Development Center adds to the educational mission of community colleges. Hawaii has celebrated success in agriculture, and we want to support local agriculture by investing and growing the Made in Hawaii, Produced in Hawaii, and Processed in Hawaii brands. Resources available on site will support local entrepreneurs in improving their products and business models, reducing the need for businesses to leave Hawaii to become viable. We offer programming curtailed around value-added businesses, equipment that are unique to Hawaii and typically too expensive for small businesses. Provide consulting and know-how to help improve products, reduce cost of production, and increase shelf life, all critical to the success of local products and are now available in Central Oahu for statewide access through the community colleges. When we look at facilities that can help support scaling products, bringing new products to market, there's very few in Hawaii. Equipment like our hyperbaric chamber that will help stabilize shelf life for products. These are things that our entrepreneurs need so that their products can get into the store, so that their products can make that trip across the ocean. Keeping businesses local, supporting local agriculture, and strengthening local entrepreneurial pipelines are core to the mission of the Waihewa Value-Added Product Development Center and the community colleges. I would love for you to learn more about what we are doing here by looking at our website and joining us for a tour so that we can continue strengthening Hawaii's local economy through agriculture.
All right. Again, good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to our latest edition of Value Added 101. My name is Chris Bailey, Center Manager, and I'm joined by the Waihewa Value Added Product Development Center team, Naomi Blue Summers, our Operations Coordinator, Haley Zhou, our Product Development Manager, and Kelsey Ige, our Marketing Specialist. At the VA PDC, our mission is to support local entrepreneurs and our ag community by providing the educational opportunities and resources to transform local ag into innovative, marketable goods that can meet consumer demands while adding economic value to Hawaii's food system. Through these online sessions, we'd like to connect the community to our individuals and organizations that are propelling this movement forward. So as we go through today's session, please feel free to enter questions into the chat. We have a number of pre-submitted questions that we'll be cycling through as well. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Patrick Lau of Savor Brands. Savor Brands is a Hawaii-based packaging and design company specializing in creating custom solutions for the food and beverage industry. They focus on elevating brand identity through innovative packaging that reflects the unique story and values of each product. Patrick, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks, Chris. Morning, everybody. This session is for you guys, so stop me at any time and fire away at questions. And Chris, I don't know if you were able to, let's see, share the awesome. Thanks. Everybody see that? Cool. All right, we'll get started. So in the beginning, prior to you got your product, you have everything going on, you think you're gonna head into the marketplace, you gotta understand that it's a fashion show. You gotta dress your product up. You have to make it look amazing, because when you have a successfully packaged product, you're gonna be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that it presents to you. So you're gonna have to ask yourself, are you representing your brand and your product? Is it a representation of you? And how you decide to dress your product will dictate where your market's going to be, or the markets that you can actually access. Unfortunately, looks sell. Everybody wants to buy and gravitate towards something that looks really good. And you have to have in the mindset that the retail shelf is your catwalk. and you've only got a limited amount of time for it to grab your attention. And like you guys do, similarly, when we walk through the grocery store or any type of retail aisle, you have to ask yourself what captures our attention. And in that case, there's in the retail shelves, there's flexible packaging. Sometimes we see boxes at the high end places. So then I want to kind of get into it and kind of get everybody onto the Mentimeter. To you look at menti.com on the top and type in that code. This is going to be real helpful. Give everybody an opportunity to enter in what captures the eye on the retail shelf during those 3 to 5 seconds that you have. So if you can get your phone out, or if you have another screen on your computer, open up, type in menti.com on your browser and type in that code. And what we'll do is we'll have a bunch of responses that you guys are going to have access to afterwards. So when you guys are designing your brand and designing everything, you can actually have this as a resource. So don't be shy. Oh, so it could be color, logo, style of the package, just anything.
Sorry, Patrick, what's the code?
2756500. It's on the screen right now. I don't know if you guys can see it on the top.
No, it's not on the screen.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me move this. I'm sorry. Actually, no, that's it. This side right here. Do you guys see this right here? This page?
Yeah,
What catches your eye on the retail shelf?
we can see the page. There's no code though.
Okay.
Patrick, I
So
can
let
also
me.
enter in the chat too. You want to just repeat the code?
Okay, it's 2756500. Let's see if I, yeah. There you go. You know what? I just did that. I turned on the QR code. That's great. We got style, color, right? Simplicity, graphics, labeling, font. That's awesome. These, whether it's healthy or not. So when taking a look at all these things, this is what the traits that you want your packaging to encompass. And what happens when you have this, sorry, is that once you have your branding set, what that gives you is it gives you scalability. And scalability is key, because once you set a course on who you want to be and how you want to be represented, you're going to have to put all your power behind it and all your effort behind promoting yourself under that banner. So it is extremely important for all the startups and all the makers to kind of think about who they are, how you want to be represented in the marketplace. And then from there, it's almost like you have to drink your own Kool-Aid. You got to get out there and think about everything that you want to be known for, and you proceed from there outside of having a phenomenal product. So after you have that, and I'm just giving everybody a real holistic view in terms of what we have in terms of the branding. We're going to go into freshness, and then we'll head into market segments. So keeping it fresh, a lot of companies that come to work with us, they're trying to figure out how do I make my product last longer? Some of them come to us and they want to see the product. Well, they say our customers really want to see the product. But our job is to let you guys know, let everybody know how to extend the shelf life to be as long as possible. So a very simple thing in packaging is making sure that you are in an environment that's temperature controlled with minimal humidity. Because if you are going to be packaging something and you decide you want to package humidity, that's going to accelerate how accelerate basically the decomposition of your product, and that's not what you do not want. So when you package something and somewhere like the VAPDC is a perfect environment, that's where you want to be in terms of having that gold standard of a phenomenal place for making and packaging your food products. So a question that we always get is, I really want my customers to see my product. I don't want to hide anything. And for those, it depends what kind of product you have. Sometimes it's okay if you are able to kind of turn your product quicker. For example, like in the Super Bowl, you'll see Tostitos come out with their chips, with the corn chips with the window that you can dip. Those are going to last on the shelves for only probably like 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. That's it. Meaning they're going to turn. It'll probably last a little longer. And in those types of products where you can have a clear window, there's multiple ways that you can do that. There are film coatings called aluminum oxide or PVDC that's put on polyester film when you're making packaging, as well as other types of materials that there is available where they're inherently clear. They're EVOH, PE blends, or nylon blends. Essentially, kind of, I don't want to nerd out on you guys, but there's a whole host of materials that are available. But my favorite in terms of keeping freshness is the use of aluminum. Aluminum is essentially a flexible tin can. When you use aluminum in flexible packaging, it is a flexible tin can. You'll see that in coffee packaging a lot. It just kind of it just basically encapsulates the product and protects it from any type of moisture or oxygen. So the better the barrier, the longer the shelf life. And if you're manufacturing, what that helps for you, if you know that you have a great shelf life, you get larger runs. You can make larger runs, access economies of scale that way. And at the same time, you'll know full well that when your product reaches the customer, it'll taste how you intended it to taste. So, but something that I really want to know in terms of now is, does seeing the product and how does that influence your purchasing decisions? And this is great for you guys to kind of go through. So on that theme, Mentimeter, I don't know if you guys can see this. You can enter on your phone. That's great. Okay, so we can kind of discuss about this. We have a few customers, and I'll just throw them out there, that actually started out in clear package. One was, I'll go with two. I don't know if you guys remember or see in Costco, Maibo 110 chips, or even at the mass market stores. They used to be in a clear bag. And they were only getting, I guess, after it reached the shelves at the stores, because they're shipping it out of Hilo, they only got a month of shelf life. And then they started becoming stale. But they were hell-bent on the fact that they needed to see the product. And for me, and our team at that time, we went back and forth and we tried to educate them on the latest and greatest in terms of technology, films available on the marketplace. We brought in, essentially, we showed in the marketplace, look, there's Frito-Lay, all their snack foods. It's in a metallized barrier. So you should consider going this route in terms of metallized barrier for you to extend your shelf life, and be able to take the vacation that you've wanted to take all these years, because they could not basically supply enough, so that, or create or manufacture enough, to be able to take a real vacation, because they're continuously manufactured product. So we convinced them to take a picture of the product, make it look as tasty as possible, put it on the package, print it on the package, and then send it to the shelves. They were, in the very, very beginning, their customers were extremely upset, the old time customers. And it did jolt sales. It jolt sales maybe like around, 18, 22% around there. Those are the numbers. But after the shell shock, and after 3 months, people love their 110 chips, especially their brand, and the sales start to climb. And actually, they went higher, because it was now a packaged product that actually caught people's eye because of their branding. And at the same time, through testing over time, they realized they were able to get a 6-month shelf life on this product. So you go from 1 month to 6 months. That is a game changer. I don't care what kind of company it is, but when you actually have that much more time on the retail stores, especially when sometimes they're not able to rotate product as quickly as possible, that's going to help you a lot. So that's a great story that we had a long time ago. There's another one. I don't know, hurricane popcorn. You guys see that on the shelves. They actually had a much, it's kind of similar scenario, where they're in a clear EVOH polyethylene package. We actually developed that for them so that they could get shelf life to go from 3 weeks to 6 weeks, because popcorn just loves sucking in humidity and kind of getting stale on you. They were going to kill the product, and they came to us, and I told them, you just gotta have an amazing design, and you have to have a metallized barrier. Just look at all the national brands and what they're doing. But people love seeing the nori and the arare all over the place. And I'm like, well, if you have great design, you'll be able to solve all those problems and give them the chaos that you want in your popcorn. So basically, that's essentially, they took a leap of faith. And for them, they converted over, theirs specifically, they converted over to lengthen their shelf life, and they were able to get to 4 months. But the great part is that after the marketplace saw the design that they had out in the I guess for their packaging, they no longer needed. It was kind of weird. They no longer needed the shelf life. Their sales went up 200%, and the product just kept on turning. So that's a use case where design makes a big difference. So that, hopefully, for all the yeses, you guys can kind of see, yes, it does affect, but at the same time, for your own selfish reasons, if you're manufacturing, you want to be in the best barrier possible. And we can get into that later, more for, I guess, how that affects the environment when you actually are able to extend shelf life. Okay, so here we go. Different market segments in Hawaii. A lot of makers got to figure out what they want to be, how they want to be, and where they want to be. So we've broken it down over the years. We've broken it down to these 6, right? You got your farmers market, mass market retail, big box retail, tourist, premium retail, and then the most recent one, I guess you could see for the past, I don't know, like 6 to 8 years, is direct to consumer. Each one has different types of challenges, and we'll get into each marketplace. So at the farmers market, the key to this is to stand out with something. Not only are you going to have a marketplace that has that all they do is want to try things. People are there to find something new, find something that they wouldn't see in the retail setting, in a traditional retail setting. Expectations for packaging is really low at the farmers market. So if you actually have something that looks pretty good, branding that sticks out, you're going to do very well in getting eyeballs to you and at least having people try your product. And by doing this, you gain, I guess, start gaining brand recognition. And at the farmers market, a lot of retail buyers like cruising farmers markets to see new products. And if you look like you're ready to go, you can expect to get solicited or asked to see if you were interested in going into any type of like mass market retail, or it could be premium or high end, depending what you have at the farmers market and the potential the buyers will see predicated on the product that you have. So here it's a great place to test things out, try things, and at the same time, packaging does impact what you do. And here at the farmers market, a lot of times you're going to use stock and label. Some of them will use stock and label, but I guess the downside for you is when you're using stock and label, basically having a package, throwing a sticker on it, or having boxes and putting a stock bag in the box, and then labeling it. What you're doing is actually you're making packaging, right? And ultimately, you don't want to be making packaging. You want to be able to just be as efficient as possible. So you have your Mentimeter, what's the next thing coming out? If you have a well-designed brand, what do you think it can provide you? And then I'll turn on the QR in case people are joining late. Good. Recognition, consistency, acceptance, expectation of repetition. So there's standards there. Value. People get excited. That's good. Trust. Trust is huge. Trust is monstrous. So ultimately, it all these things put together, it provides you to be able to scale, right? So when you are thinking of entering a market, whatever market it may be, you really have to invest in your branding. You just can't go on Microsoft Word, pick out a font and says, you know what, I think this looks really good. It just doesn't work that way. It may work if you're just kind of selling to friends and family and letting everybody know what it is. But if you want to actually develop it and turn it into a business, you have to make that investment. You have to think about what you want out of it. Okay, in mass market retail, looks matter. You're going to open yourself and subject yourself up to competition, regional and national brands. And your product category will drive your packaging, right? So here we have in the market, in like grocery, CVS, Walmart, you'll have these national brands that come in, and you want to look as good as them, if not better. We're unique. We are based out of Hawaii, right? So we have access to things that, I guess, authenticity. And sometimes we should leverage that, but in a tasteful way. A product category that when I talk about product category driving our packaging, if we have our own product category, for example, like our local snacks like crack seed, packaged arare and stuff like that, you don't have to go crazy. You can still have your clear package, clear bags like Tamoy or Wholesale Limited. You see that, um, and you don't have to go too far in terms of creating something that custom, because there's no one else in the marketplace outside of Hawaiʻi that has something like this. You might have to um, be a little bit creative to compete against the local companies, um, but you can experiment, right? You can experiment, because at that time, what happens a lot of times is that your flavors or your product is the differentiation. Um, in the stores, in the retail shelves, there's limited retail space essentially. How much revenue per square foot can your products generate? And from here, that's what's going to dictate where you're going to be placed in the shelves. So if you're just kind of like you can see like in the shelves, there's eye level at the top, and there's eye level shelving. There's shelf space that's at the top. Obviously, we all want to be at the eye level. People at the bottom. I mean, you're trying to create power within your brand to obtain that middle space, because that's prime right there. So how do you present your brand so that it's eye catching, right? So from a printing aspect, what we do is we have specific um, methodologies that can help you enhance your brand. For example, you have spot gloss, so that when you're walking down the retail aisle, the light's hitting the product, and you have your logo is spot gloss. You can have transparent inks where it looks gold, or it shimmers. These are the types of ways that you can actually grab attention. You can pick out unique colors, and then when they do get to your brand, your hope and dream is for them to actually just pick it up and take a look at it. Because if they picked it up to just take a look at it, that means you've done your job from a packaging standpoint, branding standpoint. And at that point, what you want to do is you want to provide them some sort of sensory experience. For example, so we have, I don't know if you guys have ever picked up a package that feels like it's like kind of velvety, has a soft touch on it. That kind of gives them a premium feel, a feeling of something that's a little higher end, or even a haptic varnish. And what that feels like, it's a little bit more coarse, more rough, not quite like sandpaper, but it really kind of makes a statement. And then I think for coffee, you'll see the valves, right? The valves actually serve a dual purpose, or one purpose is to help you degas the coffee. However, who in the coffee aisle, or who in the aisle in the shelves don't love picking up the coffee and kind of smelling it before they buy it? They want to do that. And at the same time, though, we have to make sure that when the customer does manipulate your product, it can withstand that abuse. Because we've all done it. We pick up the one in the front, take a look at it, and we want to buy it. We'll put that one that we were holding back on the shelf, and we'll take the one behind it away, right? We all do that. We're all guilty of that. But for whatever reason, that's human behavior. And for us, we have to make sure that we can actually develop a package that will help you withstand the package, withstand the physical abuse, to make you continue to look amazing. Okay, big box. Yep.
We have a few questions in the chat on.
Okay.
One question from Anne is, what about liquid form products? You gave examples on film barriers for snack products.
Yes.
Have thoughts or offerings for liquid?
Yes. So liquid, that is going to be, and I have those questions for afterwards, but then for liquids, I'll cover that right now. There's flexible packaging for that. You'll need a polyethylene, and it depends what it is, right? If it's juice like the Capri Sun packages, we have those are most likely going to be a metallized polyester with a polyethylene barrier. And you'll probably have a polyester exterior that you're going to print on it. And those can come with a spout. So you've seen some products out there that have that. It has been very, very popular of recent because of the ability to save on storage, right? So if you have 1,000 bottles compared to 1,000 flat packages, which is like essentially 2 cartons, you're looking at a lot of space saved. So those are things that people have been considering. Before, I have to say, before Costco used to always want to have bottles no matter what. But they've changed that stance because they understand that it is very, very difficult for consumers or manufacturers in Hawaii to store all these bottles. So that's a great question. What's the second one?
The second one is on the metallized barriers.
Yep.
There a risk of toxins leaching into the product from the aluminum film packaging or other metallized films.
Okay, so that actually the 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 risk of that is essentially slim to none. Because what happens is that the metallized layer is always going to be sandwiched between the sealant layer and the exterior print layer. That is packaging 101. So the sealant layer, that's the food grade sealant layer that is going to be touching your product, right? And the barrier layer is right outside of that, and that's going to be between the print layer, which is normally done as I guess you could say a reverse print. So they print inside the film. So what happens is that all the good stuff that's like the designs and the barrier, it's all sandwiched within. Everything is sandwiched within in between the films prior to them converting it into a bag. So you don't have to worry about that. One thing that we have done ourselves at Savor Brands is that we're the first to do a wallpaper. So inside the bag, so you can print on one side of the sealant layer that gets basically sandwiched in with everything, so that when a customer opens up the package, they get a nice surprise where it's a gold color or it's your logo scatter printed all inside. It's just a nice touch for the experience, for the opening experience, because when you use a metallized layer or aluminum foil layer, you're actually capturing all the aroma as well, so that when you open that bag, you actually will get a nice aroma coming out of it. And that's part of the sensory experience that we aim to help all our customers deliver. Let's see. Let me look at the chat. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Cool. So I'm going to carry on. So, big box retails, it's normally an established brand. You've achieved full production efficiency, and you're very careful in selecting the product that you can manufacture at scale. It's a whole different ballgame when you get here. I'll use Moebo as an example as well. They have, I don't know if you guys seen their big red bag in Costco. From there, they have each bag has a footprint, right? So you got to measure that footprint and how it fits on a 40 by 48 pallet. And then you'll have different layers. And then you got to figure out how many layers you can put on the pallet, as well as how many bags can fit on every layer. And here, all you're doing is you're just pounding away at it, because you're selling massive volume. To me, they're like the Coca-Cola of Hawaii, where they just have this one amazing product and they just pound away at it. They don't have to do anything else, so they always achieve economies of scale in everything that they make. In our, I guess, and then the next one is premium retail, right? This requires a lot more effort. It's about the experience in terms of when you go in shopping, you get excited. It's a custom and bespoke product. The attention to detail is incredible. I always look at it like Japanese, like how the Japanese package everything. It's so intricate. They just think of everything. And here we have is just a lot of times the packaging will cost a lot more than the product, because what you're trying to do is deliver a great experience. Locally, there's, Honolulu Cookie comes to mind. They have their own stores. When you walk in there, they sell like, I don't know, 15 shortbread cookies for, I think it's like $15. It's not cheap. But it is very, very giftable, right? And talking about them, like when you think of their cookies, it is high end because of their packaging, right? Everything is individually wrapped. It comes in a nice box, and then when you open that box, it's a great, very exciting experience because you want to have that cookie with coffee or tea or however you want to consume it. And those that just that experience alone, it bodes well for gifting. So when you go to premium retail, a lot of times it's to gift, right? It's to gift, and this essentially helps you promote the brand and obtain a higher price point. So once you hit in the premium retail category, you're actually selling a lot less, but your margins are a lot higher. So that's something to think about. And then you have the direct to consumer. This is for your most loyal fans. These guys will, normally they come to your store, or they shop online, and it's about you giving them something that no one else can get. It's about exclusivity. They want to make sure that they get stuff first before everybody else. And you have, I guess, a lot of companies do this they can trial new products, new recipes. They're the first to get them. Chocolate companies have, I guess Manoa Chocolate has their chocolate bar club, chocolate clubs. You can try their different flavors. Coffee companies do this as well. You have a coffee club, you get subscriptions, meaning, I guess every month you get something phenomenal. Wine companies do this a lot. Direct to consumer is extremely profitable because there's no middleman. There's no middleman whatsoever, and it allows you to get direct feedback. And the expectations for packaging are like very, very wide ranging. You can actually go in something just purely stock and label, or you can go something high end. But whatever it is, they're there because they love your product, and they'll accept you for who you are, no matter what you give them. But to get to that status, that requires a lot of hard work, elbow grease, and a lot of word of mouth. And that's essentially the direct to consumer marketplace. Okay, so at the very end, it's about production, right? And that's what the VAPDC can help you with. It's about efficiency for any makers. It's about working smarter, not harder. You have to minimize self-inflicted pain. that's kind of always when you approach business, when you approach manufacturing, if you just kind of think about that, that's going to really help you, because time is money, and how long it takes you to manufacture something to have it ready for delivery, that's going to drive the cost of your product. So you're going to have to continuously ask yourself, what can I do better? And I use this before. Am I making my own packaging, right? And whatever you do, you have to include your labor costs in it. Because sometimes you think like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it this way because I can just make it. It's going to be cheaper. But you know what? Labor, you're providing labor, and that's right now, that's one of the most expensive things on the marketplace, is labor. So our time is precious, and that's something that we can never get back. You can never get labor back. I mean, you never get time back, right? So efficiency is so key, and that's how you basically gotta look at everything, so that when you do make an investment in packaging or investing in something that increases your shelf life, these are you consider this is your return on investment. What is it, right? I'm paying more, but what am I gaining back? Even equipment for manufacturing, and accessing the equipment at the VAPDC. So that's something where that allows you, the more time you have, that you gain, the economies of scale that you have in production, it's going to be able to allow you to go out there and sell, essentially. It's going to allow you to be able to go out there and promote your product, do research in terms of the venues that you can be at. And selling is a full-time job, so you can have a phenomenal product, but no distribution. The only person that knows that you got a great product is yourself, right? So you have to think about these things in terms of how you can scale your product. But if you only want to sell to keep it simple and have an Instagram account and sell that way, that's great too. It's for whatever you want to accomplish. But no matter what, it's still going to be the same, where efficiency in production matters. That's kind of pretty much what I wanted to discuss. But then I'm going to go into these questions right now that I have, because I know we got maybe 15 minutes left. I had a question where it was, could you provide recommendations or insights on finding local artists or digital designers for brand identity and packaging for small business startups? And it's yes, we worked with many great designers, so we have a list, and we'll be more than happy to share. All you have to do is reach out to us at hello@savorbrands.com, and I'll have my email. My email is here too. You can reach out to me as well. And then what I'll do is I'll start dropping stuff into the chat as well. Stories that I think that, or information that I think will be key, that's on our website. There's a whole host of information on our website. I just dumped it in the chat. There's links there. Just click a few of those links just to open up the window, because I don't know if you guys are going to have access to the chat afterwards.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for the
Yeah.
presentation, and love the interactive activity with the Mentimeter too. I can start kicking us off, so I can read
Okay, great.
for you. And then I wanted to start following up with the links that you're sending. How do a company start working with you? Where do they start if they're ready to explore a upgrade in their packaging? Is it email reach out, or do you have a process?
You can just email it to us. I mean, we're local. That's a great thing. So we're easily accessible. Just email. I think my email is here, and then we can get myself or our team to help you guys. So that's the fun part.
And do you all specialize in flexible packaging or additional types?
We have flexible packaging, and we have boxes. those are the two main focuses. We stay away from bottles. Anything that can't nest, we stay away because that actually is really difficult for storage. Because in Hawaii, warehousing is always going to be a challenge. So even we do containers, but they're all nestable. It's specific containers though, the ones that you see at Costco.
Great. Thank you. Our next question is, I am curious about the balancing the amount of text or info with visuals and negative space. What information is most impactful to include, and any tips on sourcing? Oops.
Okay, so I think for that, brand name always needs to be bigger than the product name, because you want people to recognize your brand. If you do have nutritional facts, then and ingredients, those should be placed on the back panel. That's normally, more than 100,000 units that you sell, that you'll have to have nutritional facts. I don't know, Haley can correct me if I'm mistaken. Net weight should be front and center near the bottom, but it has to be visible when the bag is sitting on the retail shelf. So, and the thing is, you want clean design. You don't want to have too much clutter. You want to make sure that people recognize you quickly. Once they have that 3 to 5 seconds, they see your brand, see what that product is, and that's it. That's if you are able to do that, if you're able to catch their eye and they do those two things, you win, because you've imprinted yourself into them, essentially.
Um, that is correct, that in general for retail, we want nutritional facts panels to be on there if that is the direction you plan on going. And I apologize, my text got cut off. The second part of the question is on any tips on sourcing sustainable options and materials to use, and local material sourcing for packaging.
Sure. Sustainability, that is, for us, we're very well versed in sustainability. We have we have our own BPI certified industrial compostable film that we can use to make packaging, flexible packaging. But at the same time, though, we cannot make rash decisions on letting the package dictate the shelf life of the product, right? And I wanted to expand on this in terms of sustainability a little bit more. When we manufacture something, we've generated a carbon footprint. From, let's say, buying the ingredients, the amount, what it took to ship it here to Hawaii. We manufacture it, we use electricity. When we're making this product, we create a carbon footprint. And then when you package it up in something that doesn't protect the product as long as it should, if it becomes stale when it reaches the consumer's hands, you've actually wasted the entire carbon footprint for the journey of your product, essentially, if you think about it that way. Hawaii is very, very unique in that situation. And so for coffee, example, is 3% of that whole carbon footprint that's generated in the package from coffee grown on the tree, grown on the bushes till packaged and brewed. Packaging is only 3%. So for us, for the coffee companies, we tell them don't sacrifice 97% for just the 3%. Again, Hawaii is a little bit unique. We don't have an industrial compostable facility. What we do have is H power. We burn everything. From what I understand, we're trying to get a industrial compostable facility here, but at the same time, the city and county it's at a quandary because we can't get enough trash to burn. So what happens is, because we don't have enough trash to burn, the folks that we entered the contract with that created H Power, we have to pay penalties. So that puts us in a really, really weird situation with respect to sustainability here on the islands with regard to packaging. we do have our own program. It's called the R+R program, where we take back packaging, and we have two partners that we work with that can upcycle the package. One is Hydroblocks. They're in Pennsylvania. Their other one is Bifusion. They're in Gardena, California. And Bifusion takes our packaging and they make them into bricks, CMU bricks, like bricks, but it's 100% plastic, and it can be used to make a one-story building, and it's certified by, I guess, the engineering organization. Hydroblocks, they take our packaging and they make wastewater management boards. It's pretty amazing. So that allows us to close the loop on the products that we make. So you can use the best packaging possible that we have, and it will get upcycled.
Great. I think that's an important point about, I think that there's a lot of interest in biodegradable and compostable everywhere, but also looking at infrastructure on what goes post-consumer, what are the infrastructure we can actually process them to decide on what to prioritize. So we actually have a couple of similar questions touching on refrigerated and frozen products. Do you have any tips selecting
Oh, I'm doing good, but I'm in a meeting right now.
So if you actually,
Hey, Patrick, I think you're muted.
okay, so if you have a frozen product, let's say you want to put in the freezer, what happens with frozen products if it gets mishandled, it gets dropped to the ground, then it will puncture, right? Or for example, if you have meat products that get frozen and they get mishandled, it'll puncture. So what you want to do is you want to use a multi-layered film that will have great tensile strength, and at the same time a good, I guess, well, actually great tensile strength because it's frozen. So this would include nylon. It's normally you'll see a polyethylene, nylon, and a polyester, exterior polyester film laminate used. So that's what I would use to put in the freezer or for liquid as well. Hope that answers. And if you have any questions, you can always feel free to email me.
Hey, Patrick, we have an interesting question in the chat. Is there any promise with tea leaf or banana leaf for internal packaging as far as separating product? Do you see a lot as far as interest in organic materials?
For that, when you actually use tea leaf to separate, it just depends how long you plan to have that product sit out there, because you're bringing in moisture to your product, right? Tea leaves have moisture, so it's going to dry out. It'll start creating condensation within the package, and then with condensation, there's going to be mold. So you're going to want to try and not do that unless you're going to see if you can throw a whole bunch of desiccant in there. It'll look really pretty, but then you'll have to suck up the humidity that it creates within the package. So I wouldn't suggest it, but if you're just doing it for, I guess one day just at a farmer's market to show, it's a really nice presentation. But for a packaged product, I would strongly recommend against it.
Yeah, another question from the chat. What are the restrictions of having organic as part of the product name if practicing organic but not certified?
You have to get certified. Yeah, you have to get certified. You have to make that investment. You can't claim something, even though you are, without having it certified.
You can, however, label each sub-ingredient that is organic in your ingredient statement. But
That's a great point.
Get away from claiming on the front of your package organic if you are not USDA or certified by an agency, third party. We have a question pre-submitted about how your minimum order quantity works, or is it flexible? Do you do lower minimums for different kinds of packaging?
We actually, from custom package, our lowest is using our digital process. We can print the package 2,000 pieces. That works. Another way to do something really custom is you can buy a stock bag and you can actually print a box. It just depends what the product is. So we try and work with, I guess, makers to figure something out that works the best for them. And all the advice that we've given in our 2 decades, it's always free. Because all we want to do is make sure that all the makers, we put them in the best positions to succeed and have like just the best ideas out there to explore and discover how they want to approach the marketplace.
I do have that's awesome. I do have one more question from a product development perspective before I have to sign off. How do you work with the entrepreneur on advising them on shelf life testing, just maybe internally or sending it out as they're looking at different packaging to switch from?
So shelf life testing, they have to have a baseline of what they're currently in. And then from there, we can automatically, if they're in something clear, we can automatically pretty much assess that if they go into a metallized aluminum barrier packaging, that they're going to have an increased shelf life. And then from there, because every product is different, what we do is we encourage our customers to set up essentially packages in I guess metallized or foil material. We'll give them blanks and then they can test over time, because that's ultimately, we believe, the best way. You can send it out to companies that conduct the shelf life test for you, but sometimes we do see a variance in it. So in the case of Maebo's 1-ton chips, they literally did all the way up to 8 months. Actually, they went out to a year. The 8-month mark, it was still okay, not bad. But a year, they're like, no, we can't do it. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
And we are at the hour. So Patrick, thank you so much for your presentation and for your time today. And thank you to the Savor Brands team. For those interested in following up and learning more about Savor Brands, the best way to get in contact is that through the website and email on the slide.
Yep.
Awesome. And I just dropped in more information about the Waihala Valley Added Product Development Center. If you'd like to schedule a tour or learn more about our facility, we're also on Instagram too. Please follow us. And yeah, we hope to see you all at a future seminar or on site at the center.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
Pat.
Haley. All right.
Take care. Have a great
See
week,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.